How to deal with pressure. But before we begin, this episode of Reproduction Studios is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. For a free trial and 10% off, visit squarespace.com/MrRepzion and enter the offer code REPZION at checkout. Squarespace is absolutely amazing and has beautiful designs, easy template, drag and drop content, and you can create your own customizable online store to sell your products. A better web starts with your website. So how do you deal with pressure? Every person watching this video, I know for a fact, has dealt with pressure in their life in some way. Today I'm going to give you some of my little helpful tips on how I personally deal with pressure in my own life. This was something that used to really be a huge problem in my life, especially when I went into college for my first time. The amount of pressure that I had on me for homework assignments, because for those of you who don't know, I was homeschooled, and having been homeschooled, going from homeschooling home into a college was a massive transition for me, an overwhelming transition to the point that it created a lot of pressure on my shoulders. The first thing you need to realize about pressure, though, is pressure is situational. And what I mean by this, which goes into my first point, is knowing your surroundings and knowing the situation which brings you the pressure on your shoulders. This can be in high school, for example. So let's say you have friends who are pressuring you to do something that you don't want to do. This could be, let's say, losing your virginity. You know, you're a 16-year-old male. You should have had sex by now, and they're egging you on to go bang the easiest chick that you can find. That would be an example of peer pressure, pressure from your fellow peers pressuring you to do something. Or maybe you have friends who want you to drink and drive or start underage drink. Or maybe you have friends who want you to try hard substance drugs such as heroin or things like that. In this particular situation, peer pressure, the thing you have to realize is that the people who are pressuring you, you are giving them value. And in my video that I made last week, How to Be Good Enough, I made the point that if you let people give you value, if you let other people's expectations of you affect you, you lose any confidence that you have in yourself. So therefore, because you lose the confidence you have in yourself, you easily let these people who you shouldn't even be friends with to begin with, influence you to do something that you don't really want to do. That can be drugs, that can be sex, that can be numerous different things. The first step for me on dealing with pressure or peer pressure or any type of pressure in general is knowing what triggers that pressure. It can be your peer group, or maybe it's a homework assignment. Maybe you're one of those people like me who likes to procrastinate until like the very last day of your homework assignment, and then you rush it and get it all done, which then you get a bad grade on it because you didn't spend the proper amount of time that you should have on that test. That is creating pressure. You are putting yourself in that position, but overall, knowing what triggers your pressure based upon the situation you're in is very pivotal for how to deal with it. Another helpful tip that I have found that works best for me regarding pressure that I'm currently dealing with, or stress, is properly taking care of myself. Now, this is one of the biggest problems, a character flaw that I have, is when it comes to feeding myself, when it comes to giving myself care, I neglect myself all the time. I, in a way, physically abuse myself in regards to food. I won't eat the foods that I need. I won't eat or drink anything. I get myself in this mental state of, I gotta focus on my homework, I gotta focus on this, I gotta do this, I gotta get it done by a certain date, have all this pressure on me, and with that pressure, I refuse to actually take care of myself. And by doing that, it makes me not only tired, it creates unhealthy amounts of stress and anxiety. It sucks out all of the physical and mental energy that I have by not taking care of myself. Therefore, the pressure, anxiety, the stress that I feel from the situation that I'm currently in is only going to get worse because I'm not eating, I'm not drinking food, and I'm not getting liquids in my body. So this is such a practical little thing, but it amazes me how many people don't like to take care of themselves. I'm the type of person who I like to feed other people, I like to take care of other people, but when it comes to myself, I do a shit job. Another way that I personally deal with stress is finding stress-relieving activities. Now, this is completely situational based upon you. For me personally, I find that when I'm extremely stressed, playing video games helps me. It gets my mind, if I'm in a really deep emotional state or I'm upset emotionally over something that's happened, playing video games almost gets my mind off of everything. It takes the stress completely away. Now, granted, depending on what game I'm playing, some video games can actually create stress, so depending on the type of person you are, that might not be a good stress reliever. Some people like to work out or exercise when they are stressed. Some people, I personally like playing the piano. The piano is a very soothing, relaxing thing for me. And that's something that I commonly do if I'm upset or I'm having lots of stress, is just to sit on the piano and just play random tunes or just create my own music. Which, by the way, hold me accountable for that, because I've been meaning to upload some piano tutorial videos on me playing the piano for you guys, but it's something that I'm very self-conscious about and I keep neglecting to do it. And my final tip for how to deal with pressure is setting realistic goals for yourself. Now, the problem here with me is that I tend to assign way too many unrealistic goals all within a day's work. I say I need to do this, and I assign so many different things that I need to do that I completely ignore 1, 2, and 3 of the options that I just, I neglect taking care of myself, because I've signed so many goals that I need to achieve in that day that I actually cannot physically achieve, because there's only so much time in a day, and because I have to sleep, because I have to eat, because I have to poop, and therefore I'm not setting realistic goals for myself. The thing that I have found that I have to help with myself is that I have to separate my goals into 2 different things. There are the urgent things that I have to do right now, for example, like a homework assignment, or I have to get food in my belly because I haven't eaten anything all day long. Those would be 2 urgent things that I would need to do versus important things. Urgent versus important. Important things would be like, I don't know, I'm just using off the example here, cleaning the shower, cleaning the toilet, I don't know, cleaning the sink. These are just stupid little examples. But for you, find out what's urgent that you need to do that day versus what is important. Differentiate between those 2 things, and it can really help separate your day on what goals that you need to achieve. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow reptiles. These have been my personal tips on how I deal with pressure on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they'll be helpful for you. Maybe you can apply them in your own lives. I don't know. But until next time, my name is Daniel Solzbach, also known as Mr. Repzion, and finally,